Hello guys, Mr. Shockwave King here, once back again. And you subtitle video. Do note, this might be a failed test footage because there's a raging thunderstorm outside and the lights flickers and the PS4 sometimes choke up and have a heart attack. Right? Just fair warning, fair warning. But yes, you saw the title of the video. And it's one of those things where it quite pop. Since we already know Ippo will eventually return, alright, and eventually would do something. This is a question that just is reasonable to bring up. How would Kumi react, truly, to Ippo returning? Now, some might say, those who believe in Ippo Kumi, or however you want to call that, it's just, oh, she'll react fine, she'll get over it, or maybe might end up in another spar with Mishiba when Mishiba gets hold of this. But we'll get to the Mishiba equation, but it's just... And some might say, why would this be a video? Why would I need to dedicate an entire video to Ippo's and Kumi's lip life? Well, that's pretty simple. If you look at it, there's been a new challenger, a brand new challenger in the Monkey Wars, alright? If it wasn't for chapter like, whatever that class reunion chapter, I wouldn't be making this conversation, making this video. You can see her unstoppable face right there. The 12,000 chapter woman. Yes, she's the one. She's the one that we, over 1,300 chapters we have not seen, and somehow George has brought her up for no reason. And to me, when it refers to like characters like with Mari and Nanako, just like, sure, they are Kumi competition, alright? Besides some lightweight stuff, only Nanako has been really going for it, besides that one time after the Senbukuro fight. Only Nanako has been serious about this idea, has been serious competition. There's only one problem though. With Nanako, with the whole thing, before we get into like the details of how I think Kumi would react, with Nanako, as much as he has tried to interfere, as much as she has been the MVP of the Monkey games, coming in out of nowhere with the saves, stopping Ippo and Kumi from whatever type of relationship they thought they was going to have. As much as she's been doing that, there's one problem then, and that one problem is quite simply the fact that a May exists, Ayami exists, and he likes Nanako, and maybe just maybe there's a chance that she might come around to a May. Or Ayami, as I call him. But before I get to the whole reaction, like I said earlier, there's one person, alright, you've already seen her face, who just came up out of nowhere, and she just shows up 1,200 chapters later for no... Well, there's no way you save a character for 1,200 chapters and she does not have any relevance. This does not confirm that Ippo will never get with Kumi. I'm just saying it looks quite suspicious to me. I'm just saying it looks suspicious. It looks odd. Because, like, seriously, who waits over 1,200 chapters to bring back a character that was from chapter 1, and then she shows up from one chapter and like she's never seen again? Before I get into some later speculation, let's get to the main ordeal. We looked at all the talk about how we want Ippo to return, we want Ippo to return, we want Ippo to return. Who doesn't want Ippo to return? But I want to see Hajime no Miyata before Ippo returns, or another Hajime no Takamura, but it depends on what the fans want. But when it refers to that, when it refers to Ippo returning, there is one person who does not want him to step back into the ring. The coach is waiting for him, everybody else is waiting for him, everybody just wondering when or how. Sendo's waiting for him, Miyata's moving on. But Sendo still has hope, alright? Sendo still has hope. Alright, that's just maybe Ippo will return. There's one person who move on, but the only person who does not want Ippo to return, the only person who has never questioned if he's punch drunk or not, the only person who is not trying to believe in the truth, is the unstoppable, the Death Stare Queen herself, the Kumi. And it's one of those things where the fact that Ippo made a promise would be the most defining thing of how Kumi would react. Now, if it wasn't a promise, it was just something that Ippo just made up. It's not like Ippo haven't broke a promise to Kumi before. It's one of those things where it's just like this is like legitimate. This is like a serious thing. This is something that Ippo meant for a time period. And it's just like, if it comes down to the fact that if Kumi gets signed or with that Ippo could be going back to the glory days, then it just, who knows if the relationship is able to hold. And sure, Ippo can always confess his feelings, but it's just, would it be a little too late? Would it be a little too late for that? And sure, she can always come around. always, but it's just like Kumi's not a person who just, as much as she likes Ippo, just to a certain degree she has some principle, right? And not that she'll just go brain dead for him, like the MVP, the #1 wide receiver, Nanako would. But she would not like the fact that Ippo's returned to boxing. She pretty much has made a promise with him. It's one of those things that Ippo has been keeping. Even after seeing the legendary fight between Sendo and Gonzalez, Ippo still does not want to return to the ring. But in case he does, alright, which eventually he has to, we gotta face the fact that the relationship might not hold up there. It's just, there's always a what if from but it's just, it depends on how much Kumi truly believes. It depends on how much Kumi really want Ippo not return. Because not like he ever broke a promise before. It was the whole autograph situation with Mari, where it's just like when Ippo promised the autograph, then he tended to the first autograph when he becomes champion. So it's not like he'd never done it before. But it's like a serious thing, alright? Kumi has now dedicated her life to protecting the Makunouchi, alright? She will protect Makunouchi probably quicker than she'll protect her own flesh and blood and Mishiba, alright? He could deal with himself, but it's just one of those things where the statistics are just troubling. Just troubling. But it's just it's one of those things that needs to be discussed and talked about. Cause I like Kumi as a character. I love the Grim Reaper 2.0 who acts like she's not like her brother. It's just the fact it's reversed. Risa was dark all the time, but have a soft side. Kumi's it's soft all the time, but have a real surreal mean streak. It's the oddest thing. She's an animal. She's untamed. She's so much like her brother, but so different. If I was a mad scientist, I'd put these two on a microscope and we'll find out they have the same genetics. But I don't know. It will be some of the saddest chapters in this. It's saddest chapters in Hajime and Ippo first in the type of thing relationship. Somebody say, "Oh, what would have any faith to Ippo? Well, who cares about Kumi?" The thing is, to a certain degree, the way Ippo feels about Kumi directly affects his mental state. It really does. Some might say, bring up the example, but with Sonata, the whole championship fight, he wasn't even caring about that. To a certain degree, he wasn't, but to a certain degree, he was actually believing that garbage that Takamura, Kimura, and Aoki was speaking. He actually did believe that he could potentially not only lose the championship, but lose the title itself. So it's one of those things where it's just like, how would she react? How would she honestly like Ippo returning to the ring? Would she accept it? Could she accept it? Will she accept that Ippo has broken another promise to her? Another one. And will Ippo telling her that he loves her actually be able to keep her around? Kimura, everybody else has joked about it. It's one of those things, hey, look, it's funny, it's hilarious. But it's just, I take it as a serious thing. I enjoy the relationship between the two. And that relationship to get destroyed, it would just be, it depends. It depends. Because one of those things where Kumi took that promise seriously. Kumi was serious about Ippo not returning. She's going out of her way to make sure he doesn't return. And if he does it by himself, then it's just like, will she actually stay around? I'm not saying she'll be written out of the story. I'm not saying she'll never return. I'm not saying they'll never get together. I'm not saying that it would never happen. Would it be delayed or not brought up for a while? Yeah. Would it turn Ippo to a monster? Not really. It make Ippo sad, because Ippo is, as much as Ippo to a certain degree reflect Aoki and Takamura, he's not them. He's not them at all. So it would be like Chiboko and Aoki broke up. Not really. That relationship is just odd. It's just they're perfect for each other. And sure, Ippo and Kumi is similar, but anyway, it all depends. All right, this whole theory, this whole video depends on how Kumi would react to Ippo, and how that one girl whose name I could never remember and halfway cannot pronounce right. I think it's like a Kiwa or something. It depends on what her role in the story is. It could just be a one-time thing, but she's going to show back up eventually. And the reason the whole thing I was just like I had to throw to the back of my mind was, what if she comes back? All right, Ippo returns. We really believe he'll lose his first fight or not is up to you. But what if he returns? All right, he surely returns, and she finally see a match where Ippo actually won. That would be something, and she'll be out there in the crowds, along with Kumi and everybody else, and it'll be officially confirmed 100% another contender in the Makunouchi Wars. Yes, the Makunouchi Wars, the wars that have killed more people than more people have been killed inside of a love pentagon. But and then it brings us to another thing. There's another factor to all this, and that another factor, before I wrap this video up, is it's a Gake who's been temporarily, for multiple occasions, had the googly eyes for the Kumi, and sure, she has shown no type of affection towards him, but it's just, you never know that Itagaki is a sly one. You just sit there. Itagaki will set you up. I don't care what anybody says. I must like the character. I'm not gonna act like I outright like him. It's like him and his father, but it's one of those things where there will have to be a conflict between Ippo and Itagaki eventually, and bringing Kumi into the mix would be something. It's not gonna confirm anything. It's not gonna be anything potentially, but it's one of those things where you just don't know, because it all factors on how Kumi would accept Ippo returning. Will she just stop talking to him? Will she not want to go up with him anymore? How would Kumi truly react to Ippo truly returning to the ring? Well, they constantly talk about Ippo, whatever it is, his friends or family. Ippo's mother seemed content with anything he do to a certain degree, but as long as he have his health. But who knows? Maybe Kumi might whisper some sweet nothings to Ippo's mother's ear, and maybe try to get him to change his mind. But then again, she sure already know Ippo's like his father. I doubt. Yeah, pretty sure she know that's not gonna work. Pretty sure. But I don't know what you guys think about this whole debacle, about how you think Kumi react to Ippo returning. Because one of those things where it is concerning to a certain degree, because it will have a direct effect on Ippo's mental health, and it comes to, it's just like that stuff get brought up in Ippo's first return match. Maybe with the first fight she doesn't know. What about the first fight she's not aware about what's happening? Is that the case? That's not the best case scenario for Ippo and for that whole first fight for Ippo winning. Because your mental health going into a match affects everything. And shit, to a certain case, it could be a Tokyo Douglas, but that's not everybody. So it's just, I don't know what you guys think about this whole Kumi situation. I am quite curious. I am quite wondering how this would turn out, because I've been inside I've been a Makunouchi War reporter for a long time now. A long time now. Is this General Deathhead Kumi has been inside the Makunouchi War since the very beginning. She was the first person to lay claims to Ippo before Mari showed up, and then Nanako showed up, and then Itagaki showed up, then Ame showed up, and then now we got this brand new challenger. They're gonna turn it into a Septagon, and it just, who knows how this would turn out? Who knows? But I'd like to know your guys' thoughts about the whole ordeal. How do you think Kumi would react to this entire situation? To me, it's one of those things where it just like, it could go either way. She could accept it, but I do think it'd be one of those things where Ippo will not be suing the Kumi for a while, which will allow the keyword girl to come in and throw in some cheat shots, and Nanako to lay down some foundation and just further ruin things, and just it'll make the Makunouchi Wars more bloodier with General Kumi comes back into the mix. What you guys think about the whole Kumi situation? How do you think she will react? Will she accept Ippo's returning to boxing and just accept that Ippo's gonna risk his life in the sport, or will she never accept it at all? Be your boy, Shockwave King, and peace.